When I first saw I Love Lucy, I was about 5 years old. I remember this well because I was screaming at my mom to watch a different channel, probably one of the children's channels on PBS. She didn't do it, of course, and she turned to channel 5 where I Love Lucy was played. At first, I just stood there and moped and pound, but after watching just one episode, just one, I was immediately hooked. It was just like the same way with what the Honeymooners, only it was now I Love Lucy. And every time as while I was living, at home, not going to school, or whenever the school was off, I took the opportunity to watch an episode of I Love Lucy. That's how fun and entertaining that show was. And even as I grew older, the show never gotten old with me. This show still remained fresh and new as if I was just watching it for the first time. And I knew right there that this was this was the classic comedy show of all. And that was largely because of Lucille Ball. Lucille Ball, to me, has always been a comical genius. Um, she um, she knew how to make people laugh, and she knew how to give us a good show. And watching some of her episodes, watching her at her do what she does best was always fun and always entertaining to me. I remember the first episode I saw with her. It was a chocolate. It was one of the episodes where she's working in a chocolate factory. Her and her best friend, and they was like trying to pack up all these candies, wrap them up and ship them to the next boot. And they thought it was gonna be cool, and they thought, oh no, this is not gonna be too bad. And next thing you know, it's going faster and faster. They trying to keep up, and the next thing you know, it was to the point where they put it on underneath their shirts and in their pockets and their mouths. The supervisor came along and said, "Oh, you guys are doing a great job." And they said, "Speed up, guys!" And the next thing you know, it's all this candy. It was just like mayhem, and I was just joking, laughing around. Another thing is, one of my other classic episodes was was when they was doing a TV show. Everybody, her, Ricky, everybody, Fred, um, FO, everybody was doing a TV show, and they did the pre-rehearsal. Everything looked good, but then she found out that they was using her using her in order to keep her satisfied, and she ended up sabotaging the whole show, not realizing that it was not a pre-tape; it was actually a live recording. And yeah, that the facial expression she did was always classic. I would never forget that. And another one was not much of a comedy, but a very heartwarming announcement that she was due to have her first child, which was very well done and very well planned. Because she really was pregnant with Destiny Arnaz's child at that time, and it ended probably with one of the best songs I heard during that show's history. It was she he that Ricky Ricardo was singing "She's Having a Baby," and the song was phenomenal. It was a great song. If you can find that episode on YouTube or any of the old classic show networks, you should check that out. It was a very good show. The cast of I Love Lucy, but particularly Lucille Ball, was great. I really have nothing bad to say about her. She is very good, and I was very sad when she died. She had suffered some illness. I'm pretty sure she died in the hospital, and I was saddened of her death. And because I knew that I knew that that icon would not come back, and only thing I, along with a lot of other people, had left of that legendary actress was her shows of old. And I hang on to those shows because those were classic shows. I wish they are still showing on free TV today, because I'll be right there sitting on the tube watching it right now. They're very rarely shown except for probably a telethon in TV land or some other show that do show classic shows, but that was one of my favorite shows growing up. I watched a lot of black and white shows, particularly that show, because her, that show. If I, to stop watching it now, and come back to it 10 years, 20 years down the road, it will still make me laugh to this day. It never grows old, and that's what makes her such a genius. Her comedic views, how she did her shows, don't age. That's how those things, they'll never age out, and that's what makes her such a special actress, because she was able to deliver something that people from my generation, from people who was growing up when the show was first aired, and the newer generation can really appreciate. And I do hope that the newer generation will have a chance to experience great comedy as I did when I was watching this on TV. Again, amazingly enough, it's hard to believe that she's 100. If she would have been 100 years old today, if she was still alive, that is amazing, because I still feel like she's just gone. I mean, that's how much an impact she had with me. I don't know how she had with you guys, but I'm pretty sure that those who grew up, could truly understand, that when her death happened, it was one of very few people who had touched my life. That's how good she was. She touched my life, and that when she died, my whole my whole feelings, my stuff of me died with it. It really was a heartbreaker. But again, her legacy, although she's no longer with us, she's still with us in spirit, and her legacy will forever move on. Her shows will never grow old. In fact, they're still as great as it was first developed. And the only other thing I gotta say is, happy birthday, Lucy Danez. And thank you very much for giving us such great laughter over those years, especially with me growing up watching and appreciating your work. And I think I speak for my family and for most of the people who are great fans, that your legacy will indeed live forever. And that's pretty much it, guys. You guys take care.